Hey guys, it is me. Sorry, buddy. Got the squirrels out here feeding away a little bit. Just wait until a few more people arrive. Who am I kidding? Fight me? Because I wish to. But YouTube doesn't feed my channel very well. One of my issues is I have not been able to get to a computer in months here, because you probably understand why. With this COVID thing going on everywhere in the world, it's affected my ability to get to computers, so I haven't been able to, what do you call it? Where I make my channel, where I turn it on so it has the commercials and such like that, monetize it. And so, my last probably couple of hundred videos or so monetized, so I'm not really making any money off of these efforts, unless I do it like this. This gets monetized, decide where they think this is going to be a little bit of a winner for them. Or sometimes they, just put a couple near the end. I appreciate it. I get a few cents from that. And I'm going to push this so I can see if anybody's here, and so we all see who's here, and there's probably not been anybody who's popped in 2 minutes, so... And here is, and I'm not griping. I am griping. We gripe, we're human. But in all reality, I'm really stating a point. So yesterday I said this stuff. And I said, yes, I guarantee that the picture tells a story. Okay, so this is it. This is 3 different photos. Right off the bat yesterday, when I was just looking at this a bit, I just seen a couple of differences. And I decided, well, and there's been 15 people who have checked in on the picture. Go on the community section here, guys. Just before we go into I'm going to go into art. Come on, why aren't you guys bringing up this? Oh, there we go. YouTube might be a little slow. I talk about the rust contamination color around the city and stuff. I've talked to the owner of this establishment here, and he was very surprised to even notice that going on. Along you get to see all the asphalt, all the exposed aggregate there, the lines. I don't know when the last time he painted his lines. I should ask him that question, but they just pick away at everything. That's just the concrete base there of the post, little close-ups of it. And then in here, I'm challenging you to realize there's a bear there, and to realize that up in the tree or behind in the bush back there, you get to see different things going on. And whether you believe it or not, maybe even right here and stuff, maybe even right here and here, maybe there's a lot. Once we go through this picture, you're going to start to be able to open your mind. There's probably a bunch in here. Okay? And they're able to do a certain output of energy, whether it's coming from their mouths, they're humming, they're vibrating, whatever. But they can do that in a sense to keep the bear off of breaking his feeling of, I just don't want to go in there. I want to do what's out here. And he'll just keep walking along this way. If something comes into the commotion of it, then yeah, he can be pretty dartful to whatever his instinct is deciding to go. And now put me not here, then they could do whatever they wanted to kind of control that bear and deflect him, so he just runs on a path and doesn't really bump into any of these beings on his run. It's part of what I believe going on is, don't start the wind. I'm trying to keep the sun out a little bit so I can see the whole show here better myself. Anyways, so that's a little bit on the beings, and some other dudes here if you actually got into this picture, threw out some of these spots in here, for sure up over here, because that's what up in that shadow, and there's somewhere in there is where I realized, okay, this is a loaded picture after all. And then so right here, and you really see that and that. Like me when I'm looking at, and I can see 2 to 2 and different, side to side here, side to side, up and down, turn your head all around. Can it be busting through the leaves and stuff? You might think that, but if you go to this picture here, I just don't want to push it so it comes in, because then I'm get re-screwed up, well, whatever. You can see the 2 bears here. We're coming to check out a little leftovers that somebody left there. You can see this light energy right here. You can see all the blurriness of what is back here, obviously way back. So you could probably go and, okay, that's got to be around 100 feet. Okay, now try to examine whether you think this is 100 feet away. Now this one right here, I don't know if this is the same as the one above, but all these 5 or 6 pictures here are at different blooms of the light. Different amount of beings turned on, I say. I've had to go through a lot. I've had to try to decide, is that just one guy doing all that? Or is that a group of them? And so many of the times the answers come up back to the groups. Many times singular. But like I showed you, where you kind of, well, you got to break almost every one of them down to see if it starts to do like I'm pointing out to you there, that this one is splitting into multiple beings, is what my claim is. And it's up to you to try to figure some stuff out. Okay, now when you come into this, I want you to be really open-minded, and I will explain how open-minded you have to be. I like the blue one the most. Is that kind of funny? I wonder if maybe not. But anyways, you get to, on this closer one, you get to see multipleness going on. You get to see something that holds the same look through much of the picture. But it doesn't mean that's not a guy's hand. I want you to keep that in mind. And why I in part say that is because there is somebody also hanging out on the edge of. Why did you just ding? Live, everything looks good. And so on and so forth. So just go through these if you like. Get to see a bunch hiding back in there, and this is where I was doing my laundry and stuff on the river. Kind of living with the guys a bit. So let me just go, I'm going to go all the way back up to community top. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to come over to that picture in freestyle. And I'm going to go like that. I'm going to go, please let us be able to do craft on. Yes. And you guys are still here. So, what I want to be able to do is this one. Yep, on that. I want to keep it on a painting that you guys will be able to notice. Is that going to be a good size? So the nice thing about this is you can go like that and erase it all. So I'm going to be able to go, I'm going to be able, whoops. How come you're not doing the art? Oh, I'm on erase still. I'm going to be able to go like this, and then go like this, and this, and then I'm going to be able to go, nah, I don't want that one, no, I don't want that one, that one, that one, that one. Alrighty? So, right now I'm going to do some thick tree. I'm going to just do some tree marking here. Whoops. There we go. First back. Okay, so there's this. There's this. Okay. So how do I get to move it again? Oh, I just have to use both fingers. Okay. Okay, so we got this stick here. We got this stick here. We got this stick here that does a loop. There it is up here. Whoops. Navigate up. So I'm going to go like that. Whoops. Go back one, and then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to, whoop. What happened there? I'm going to go back one because, whoops. Oh no, I'm messing up. That was nothing. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to skip all this stuff. I'm going to go reset. You guys go like that. We're going to skip the art thing for now. Oh, somebody just left. Okay, so if you look right here, okay, just imagine that could be ice. Look over here a little bit too if you want. See if you can see anything. Now remember, we're going to come into these leaves right here. Get to see one white dot still. Here's that leaf. Oops. That other shape here seems to be gone. So look at right here. Almost looks like you see something right there that could resemble eyes. I'm trying to get you guys to be open like this. This is the fineness of it. Same area as right here. See that? Let's see if we can find this stick right here. It is. Okay, I don't like how much that changes in angle. Okay, so we gotta look at something else. I want us to look at this right here. Dot, dot, like that was eyes. Imagine like if you're gonna be watching this to see if it changes in any shape of a being. Say there's a head here and an arm. Say there's a head here and an arm, or this one owns these arms. Something like that. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, and you see where I am right here amongst these leaves. Intensity and the whiteness will bring his head right up beside me. That's what I'll do. I'll bring this down, and I can slide him along the side. That's his side. There's his. Actually, I'll bring it on this side, so we're using the red dot. His head there, two eyes. What I called to be arms and such. Here he is again, two eyes. What I called to be arms and such, or another being under him and stuff. So let's just look up at those couple of dots and those couple of dots. Now we're going to come down. So dot, dot. So he's in between that. Okay, so where I think he is now is somewhere around here. That's the dot, dot representation right there. Okay, so that one's under that part of the stick. Yeah, so those two dots are in the same spot. Those ones were in the V there of those two sticks. And now they seem to be above the V in those two sticks maybe, or they've gone back because they were in here somewhere. When you start to accomplish finding the little guys like this, you got wherever, people who are sticking around or people are choosing that we shouldn't be able to. So that's where I see I'm going to bring my man over. So I'm kind of hitting the two dots I'm seeing right there. Let's look for this singular dot and see if we end up finding two. But that's just, I'm imagining them to be eye lights. Okay, so that's where the one was, and that's where I said a singular one was, yeah? Right there. That now almost looks like, you see that? Doink and doink. because that looks like it's changed into a set of finger glasses, basically. Now we come over to here, and it's this one right over here and here. And in all reality, if you really just look at how much plants themselves would change from a photo to a photo, and see the massness of the change. Okay, this one up here looks interesting. So right above my head there, you see that? I'm going to go to the top. To me, I see right above my head there, I see like something that could maybe resemble an eye. That's what so many of the times I look for. And I study animals. I had a deer just walk by me this morning here that just walked feet away. And he was super nervous. Not here, I mean, but up at my camp. And he was super nervous. He was spooked, and so was his brother. It was kind of a weird thing. I'm not going to talk about it much because it'll get me off track here. But I just went into a really good, making sure that he wasn't going to be able to make out my eyes at all. But I was still able to watch him and stuff. Hey, Maud, right? Vel, how are you? And you're very welcome. Yeah, and car that he reading and however a deer will think and so on and so forth with them. They were just yearlings, just a year older or whatever, and he had his developing horns and so on and so forth. Like a black strip down the back of them and stuff. Nice and healthy, but quite slim, doing well. Connection is bad, but trying to hang with you. Thank you. It's my connection too at the same time, so crap. I'm too far away from the building. So yeah, be patient, guys. I want to show you something of an understanding here when it comes into how small of a being and the shapes they can be toying with us. Where's that one? Darn, it's not in this group of pictures. But here's where I say is an image of one. Actually, there might be two here, but for sure one. Right here beside, right now I'm right over top of its head. Okay, and I'm going to try to show you different images of it so you can decide. Now okay, at this point, just grateful for you and what you're doing for the cause. Thank you very much, Ma Darville. And so let's say you see something here, it looks kind of like a head, maybe you're seeing a neck, stuff like that. Then you go down to this. And oh yeah, I also want you to bring into the picture where this, whatever this happened, picture. So there's that thing again, still. And the little green guy's right above there. And here he is here. Sorry guys about all that dinging, it's just one of my daughters talking to me a bit here. So there is his head in behind this leaf now. And realize how much you get to see of him still. That stick of the branch. This stick of a branch. Let's go down now. See how that stuff's all there? See where this gray thing and that stick of the branch is right there. Look at that, eh? That gray thing and the stick of the branch right there. So it is, oh, look at this. I've never noticed it before. Is that him up this high now? Is that him here? Up that high? He might be. Or there could be multiple things. Because as I pointed him out here, right here, I seen this real tiny right here. We're talking about something that's the size of our thumbs and maybe smaller, guys. So here's that gray thing. Let's see how much we get to zoom this baby in. See if we get to locate that green guy's head. Whoops. I'm seeing him way over here now, maybe. I'm wondering if right there, that object coming into the picture. Or maybe he's hiding in behind whatever this thing is. It almost looks like it's a living life, really. I wouldn't doubt it if there's a few of them here, you guys. I wouldn't doubt it if there's a few of them in here and so on and so forth. The phenomenon of what we're looking at is all what I'm saying here in all of these pictures. Except for this one right here with my son Yahoo. He was sitting there playing with his dog, so I took photos. So I'm talking here in this one right here, how their style of breakage is to prolong the life of a tree and not make it so it will completely just rot and die off. That was a long time ago. Here, this one's a long time ago where there was an upside down tree and such. And if you turned around and well, let's just do it for you. And if you turn around and you zoom in these areas, in these areas and stuff, and look into these, you'll find a pair of fingers continue to learn, in here and so on and so forth. Let's go to the next one. Do we go like this? No, we can go this way. And this one's really like amazing cool. Like it's just amazing cool. So I'm walking along. I'm at the river's edge. Happen to look down. I understand what they get out of sand. I understand what they get out of pea gravel. Understand what they get out of 3/4 inch rock. I get a road base, asphalt, rocks on the sides of the roads, all that stuff. I get that. And so what you get to see here is you get to see a rock that really has a surface of not really coming from a rock quarry or this indentation. That's not far off from the size of grass. So we're going, I can't remember, my recall I always want to say is a nickel, but let's go with between a nickel and 25-cent piece. Okay, here we're coming in a little bit closer and stuff. You get to start to see detail. You get to start to see detail all around. Realize that this bank is a bank. And then you come in super close like this one. And anybody who has finished concrete at all, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to tune myself out because me going over top of my face distracts me so much because I feel like you guys need to look at me. So I hate that I keep covering up my face, but now I'm clear of that. So anybody who's finished concrete and stuff, look at what we get to see here. We get to see a finish line in sand that is cone-shaped upside down. So this sand would want to avalanche inwards on there. If this steepness got too much, if it became too dry and didn't want to bind together anymore, if it's a round sand compared to a broken sand, there's different attributes that come into it. But what you get to see is you get to see a finer trowel mark than what our professional concrete finishers leave. You go down to different foundations around or anything like that where they have to put a trowel to it. No. This is nothing like what a ant lion makes or any kind of a bug. And how I'm making that statement is I'm trying to get you guys to see the particularness in this finishing job. Look how smooth. It really is this smooth all the way around. And it looks to me now coming in this close, when whoever was finishing it out, however it's being done, I suspect maybe a claw upside down, and it's one being just going swoop. So he starts over here, say, and because this is higher than this. You see that? How this side is higher than this is the lower side. That's what I'm picking up. This is what I appreciate about you. Yeah, the breaking down and trying to figure it out, eh? So this is higher. So what we suspect, if it was done by a claw, trowel, a stick, is that the person doing it has their stick down into the center of it, coming up. It could be coming out farther than the hole. It doesn't have to be this high of the hole. Anyways, and then he swipes it around. He or she. Oops, not doing a good circle there, but keeps going and finishes out. And that's generally, like if we were doing a pattern like that in some holes, you could stick your fingertip in there, and if you just pulled your fingertip out, you could understand how it's not going to leave a nice thing. So you're going to kind of round your finger and do a swipe as you come out. And as you swipe, you come out, you're leaving that. And look what I'm noticing. It's like there's even more left behind, maybe even going all the way back here. So let's zoom in a little bit further, closer here. It really does look like a continuation of the ridge. I'm going to put a red dot on it. It's coming. And because it's not nice and square, you see that? Actually, look at that. I never thought about that. But it's almost got the curvature similar to the curvature of the bowl. I'm going to speculate to some degree. You see that? The curvature of the bowl. You got to use your mind a little bit and get into that. And then you can see how that's got the curvature of that. So what is that telling me? It's the object that's being used to make the bowl actually does have a curve. Okay? And now what's happening is the tip really did flow up here. Whoever did it did a little bit of a whoops, I jiggle a little bit. And he didn't do a pristine slice of it up that way. And walked away and was happy with his work. Meanwhile, his kids or whatever is going on are all around him here. Just going around. After he does that pristine swipe, we see that, right? Almost looks like he even did a second jiggle there. There's two jiggles, you see that? You know, maybe. And pulls it out there. And then you get into all these and really start to look at those. And those can be workings of those. You know, it's kind of funny because you think about how many of these craters are on the moon, eh? Isn't that a weird thought? Anyways, and there's no rocks to show that they even made the crater. I never even thought of that before. Not every one of those rocks would have blown to pieces in those craters on the moon. I'm telling you right now. And I think you guys are all going, that's right. We got to be that speculative, if that's the proper way of pronouncing it. Anyway, so get into this. Lots of times what you're going to even maybe that one right there, that one right there, that one, that one are copies of this one. Beside Mum. It's just part of what we do, Mum. We just make lots of marks. Oh yeah, you might decide to do these on the rocks. And guess what, guys? I found these on the rocks, and I have them on video on the rocks. They just don't end up being able to look as good as this, because these granular sizes would have something different to do with the carvings, I would imagine, in that granular size. Awesome. So we switch over to here. So remember on the earlier videos, hopefully the camera was doing all right and stuff. I was trying to get you guys to focus in on those. Maybe this is a head, maybe these are some eyes, and maybe these are some arms. I was getting you guys just to think about that. So let's start with the biggest picture first. So I'm trying to tell you guys that this is maybe a being's head. Once again, I'll say that weird thing. It really does look like a hand too. And I tell you, they do, you know, way back here in the forest where we're not looking, we're actually looking at the trees on this side. I just took some pictures. I wanted to get the other side of the forest, the ravine. And then when I was swiping through these pictures, I seen that little dot right there. And I went zooming past the first time. And I stopped myself like a number of pictures beyond, and I go, there's something there, Ian. And I flipped back, and that's what I found. And you might even be able to see the similar coloration between the sticks there or not. But anyways, almost looks like there's someone here too, or whatever. Maybe there's someone laying down here, and we talk about this on this channel, that it's not necessarily, well, it is necessarily two eyes, I think. But say there is a ridge of a nose. So you can understand how our eyes can't see each other's eye because of the ridge of our nose, for sure. But if we had the power to do illumination off of it, immediately we'd be able to make a band of an eye where it seemed like an eye. And if we have the ability to make it in color, that color also brings in the dark color shadowing, stuff like that. So keep those things in mind. Keep this space here in mind. Keep this space here in mind. Why we go and look at this head or whatever it is from 4 different angles, actual 4 different angles. And how you can do that is you take time to line up the sticks and see that they don't line up the same. And I'll show you a quickie right, well, actually I think the stick that is right here above, see on the 45-degree angle, doesn't show up here, and it's because oh no, I think it should be in there. See, it should be in there, but it's just that in particular stick right there is so close to me. A couple of cops in here. I wonder if they're going to check me out. This might be entertaining. It's closer to me. So on this in particular picture, we're missing that stick somewhere over here. Okay, guys? So we go to this picture next because it's the next in size. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of cops here, and my windows are all covered up for shade. Yeah, I don't look like a drug dealer. Anyway, so now we're looking at this thing again here, remembering this is a different angle, and look at how much we get to see him so well. See? See how well we get to see him? And this could be light up of the eyes there, or is that mouth opening and there's actual teeth and a different color within them? Keep that stuff in mind while you look at this thing. And now we're just going to swipe over to this guy, and you get to realize how that is different, but so much the same. The picture is different, but so much the same. We get to see this stuff here. Now, which is the next size? Yeah, I think this is the smallest. Yeah. So now, remember I was telling you to think about the arms and stuff? Think about this. And remember I was saying, is there somebody beside him? So he's still there. He's almost looking like he wears sunglasses. And I bet you a lot of people would say that. And that's probably because if you think how light works, it's attaching itself to become one thing. And it's going with this cheekness or something, I don't know, to give that dark exposure of sunglasses to us. Anyways, so you see that? Is that 2 arms? Or, if you're laying on the dock and you got your legs up in the air and then you're flopping your feet around. Okay, so try to get that right in there, guys. Like this thing here that it's almost a circle. So that dot in the middle is space. It's space behind, whether there's anybody filling it or a tree filling it or a twig filling it. That's maybe, but it's space like this space. How we're trying to single this guy's head close to us and take him out of the equation of this stuff. I'm using my red dot as the pointer. Okay, and that's the same thing. This thing here, this almost triangular, maybe that's part of it too. Maybe his head's actually there. These are his arms. And this is another being, or this being's ass. And this guy's putting his hands on his ass. Okay? Be that wild in your thoughts. You come up with more answers. Now we get to go right into this guy here. And we get to see significantly like he's sticking his head up or something. And this guy, is now doing whatever and whatever. So bang, bang. You guys get to see that and come back to this picture. And these are all in my in our community page. You guys want to look at this one? Doink, doink. Let's go up here first then. Yeah, the cops are checking out. There's a little. It's actually like a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot. One of the probably the like an unreal huge structure, how people referred to them, but it's right here at the library. And when you started looking at the size of the stuff moved around, you know the drug addicts aren't making that thing. And yeah. So anyways, back to this picture. Eye, eye, head, ridge of nose maybe? Yeah? This thing here, you might want to say, hey, is that a nose of it or something? But I say, you know how I talk about these guys totem pole? This is a totem pole. Totem pole, and they do Bigfoot piles. I think this is how they incorporate totally in the totem piles too. They'll still do the piles in there. So in other words, they're off the ground somewhat in this picture. Here you get to jump right over for another look here in a different distant, right? So see this thing, let's just move that down a little bit so we get the biggest head. I just want to kind of talk about obviously the biggest head. So the biggest head, red dot, and biggest head, red dot. Now what I want you guys to do, because this is kind of cool to do this. So this isn't two pictures, this is just a stick here. Almost broke it up there for a minute. I thought I had another picture in there. But what I want you to do, if you like, is study this bump. You see this? What I totally think, because what you see here, you see this little whiteness right there? And the whiteness right there, I think that's the, like a thumb coming around, index finger, 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 finger. But remember, it's real tricky and real hard to decide that kind of stuff because how you can see that they do luminate up so much and can have so many different reflectives and darkness. You have to go through that pattern all the time. No, is this a being's head? But how this thing on this side of the tree and this one on this side of the tree, to being like they're directly across from each other, helped me a lot. And I feel like these are bent up digits. And then you have another example of it right here. These are three different pictures again of seeing, whoops, I guess I can zoom that in. I'm kind of seeing what's going on there. But at the same time, is there a guy now starting to hang more off of his dad's arm? So you see his hand would be coming up. He's kind of hanging onto this tree right there. And this area seems like it's building up. Let's go over here for an example of truth there. So I was pointing out this area looks a little bit different. So see what we see here, kind of whiteness, blackness. See the whiteness there. Yes, it's different. So you look at this whiteness right here. That's right. And you see it again right there. And you can make out that it's different. Anyway, so we get to come up here. And once again, it looks different here again. So you know action's going on there. And I believe thumb, fingers, whatever. But it could be other guys. But there's other guys here too. There's other guys, like I'm almost right on top of a face, it looks like. Let's go down here and see if we recognize that. See right here? That might be a face. That might be a face in front of a face, and he might have a face in front of his face. And the other guy littlest guy might have a face in front of his face, but we just don't get to make that and break it out because how inaccurate our photos are to some extent. But, you know, some people realize we got a lot of skill with our cameras. Our cameras pick up a lot of stuff. You just have to be patient. And so what I've done for us here is we got a picture in just two different colorings. One of my favorite looks in here is right here. There's just something about it. It tells me a Sasquatch look if you sit back here, but it's not that. I think it's a lot of brush and maybe a dark eye in there and so on and so forth. I'm more positive on areas here and stuff. Right now I'm kind of waving at the cops a bit as they drive out and stuff too. I gotta keep my friendly rapport with them. I don't even know if even one of them waved back. Can't see in the reflection, but yeah. So right in here, zip in here, because we got difference in color. You kind of just look and stuff, and like I said, things will be. It's the same picture. You scroll down, and you just get to see it in different color, and it might make stuff bounce for you. When you see lots of finger glasses, that's I got way better pictures out there than these. The size of some of our greenery, how large it's become compared to other years. So here's a good one too, where I think a guy might be using the little arm setup, and you might see it right away. And that's that one right there. You see that triangle right there? 2 dots. The bigger guy is back here. The bigger guy is back here, face in front. These are all the same guy, but different times. So the bigger guy is kind of probably that top ridge we get to see there. And then as I go like this, there's another guy's face right there. And right up above there on the kind of the left side a little bit, you might get to see what we think is representing arms in this picture. And then same here, try to look for the representation of arms or legs, a head right there on the left, a head here on this right side. And we're going to go zoom. So what I'm saying is this again might be arms. This might be a being, and his face is in front of another being. I'm saying that is what's happening. I'm actually saying that this is a being, and this is a face in front of another one. Here's the face in front again. So here's a being. Oh, you look at that. That might even be a little one right there. So you got the big one. Little one going right here. Other one going right here. Mom's still being able to peek through if she wants. Different action of arms here or legs, whatever they are. This one's really blurred out, but when you're zoomed back, you see it better. This one right here is what it is. Chink, chink. See if these are the same pictures, but in a different order. I think they are. Yeah, there's the triangular arm hold. My son horsing around with the dog. Coyote. Like the coyote's walking right past me, and I'm just doing the eye cover. And you got to remember, an animal like this only has to catch things in its peripheral that are in its memory for sharp shooting, for sharp seeing, for recognizing something just whoosh, out in its peripheral, and it knows it's something of importance. And here's a guy without me fully covering my eyes. Because even here in these 3 pictures on the side, I've brought the camera in the car now, and I'm still taking pictures of them, and I'm being quiet enough to try not to pick up on him. On this one here, whoops. This one here, his ears are cuffed back, it looks like up on me there. It's the last it looks of them. And we already talked about this one earlier in the video. Whoops. Where we say, see this thing here? That's my main suspect. And where is he here? Is that him there now behind this leaf in color, in shade? And when you bring this gray guy here, gray thing, whatever that is, into the picture, and you look at where it's lined up with this stick, you get to see that same alignment right here, guys. So the camera is so much in the same spot, and this green guy is behind something more so in that picture. And then even more so in this picture. Unless that's him who's gone up above my head. We talked about different things. But from this distance back, it kind of looks like that would be him. Right here, eh? And now this leaf is in the way. But it's not covering this gray thing. Okay, so this is a different one than those other ones. But look at how much he looks the same. And this is... in the exact, this is, yeah, let me go with feet then. About 500 to, yeah, probably about 1,000 feet away from where the other one was. The other one I stopped in the field, at a field, took some pictures. You know, where I was just a minute ago looking at this guy that kind of looks like this thing. And I was saying there's a little face in front of his face and there's a set of arms. You know, we were just on that one. But I don't know if you get it, but like he does relate with this one. Anyways, but this one is clipped from videos. The other one is pictures, this is video. And I want to tell you that that's catching my eye. That's catching, that's catching, that's catching, that's catching. So when I'm in a mood to look, that's what I do. Lots of times I start with far back ones like that, and I get my interest going. But if you really go into some of these ones, you might actually see the suspects if you take the time. Like, look at that right there. Excuse me. You go back into here, you might be able to see some suspects. You know? Their favorite spots are to be in the dark, from my gathering, with this in particular guy. So you get to see, so these are all different clips of the exact same image. And around it you get to see other stuff going on. Like, I'm not 100% saying that's not even hand. Hand or head is my speculating. Again, almost like we're getting to see either it's from these plants where you don't get to really see much of white twigs around, you just get to see them again with the being, or that's maybe a set of arms again. Look at, so you go and look at that bang bang again and you like it as a really good bang, and then you go over to this one, there he is, and bang bang again. He's the biggest guy's image, so let's go in there. Okay, so, and also like this picture, I'm able to do that because I picked it up on a zoom. This picture, whoops, that's as close as I get. Just so you understand, we're not zooming that picture here. We're taking a clip from the, that's it right there. We're taking, and there's the one I was pointing out to the side of it a bit. We're taking a zoom of that guy and a far clip of that guy. And there's just different, oh, yeah. Me basically saying, here he is. I never looked at this one. Yeah, got my red line under him. Good. Do that in the doodle art thing. So here what we get to see is, let's kind of go through it, because I think I might have put them in order. The lightest of the brightness. But guys, they're here. They're here. Like, this might be them. You get to see light in the background that's truly the background light. But that doesn't mean that's trying to signal to you that that light is actually coming from way in the background. And it's not for you, it's for me actually. But here it is at a certain illumination amount of beings lighting it up. Here it is a bit brighter, bit brighter. Well, that's the excavator. That's way back in the background. But at a different time, it doesn't seem brighter. It might be, no, it can't be on shutdown mode. But who knows, I might have gotten this one mixed up. But I tried to do them in order, up to the brightness, which is this guy. And honestly, I think this one, no, sorry. Oh, I don't have the single bright one. I didn't put it, yeah, because it's not in the collages. So I have a singular where it's just on its own or whatever. And so this rust, you know, recently I did the video on showing you where they make it in the creeks, guys. And we've walked through it when we were kids forever. Or because we've tried to avoid it walking through the creeks. Remember, any of you that are in, let's go with 30 years and older, when we were to go to the parks and stuff by ourselves. And we would play in the creeks and all that stuff, and you would find those mixtures of minerals from the earth that in the creek, and it just, and sometimes you look at them and they almost look stirred and stuff. back to you now. Because now you get to know that they are being concocted. And these guys enjoy going around and tarnishing up the city while they peel the asphalt away, and so on and so forth. And then here's me just showing you the fineness of fine detail of stuff. Sure, it's not the best camera work in the world, but you do get to see etching that way and this way and that way, etching and scratching and picking and cracking and flaking and, oh, I took this great big chunk out. Mom, did I do a good job? No, son, I want you to work a little bit slower on it and stuff. And here we get to see the fineness because we get to see the lines on my thumb. And we get to see the lines on this rock to really get to understand the size of their tips. My camera picks up the stuff on my fingernails and my hands clearer than it does on the rocks, but I do the best I can. And you guys could always find a rock or whatever and do what you do. Hey, we got 3 in the house. Right on, guys. I'm glad people are hanging out a bit. Oh, look. Oh, that's me. Beautiful dog. You see Jack? I miss him, man. Look at his tail and stuff, man. There's no doubt that guy had good blood in him. And yeah, with this thing, that see lights in the sky, I'm just trying to get you guys to really, you know. Oh yeah, so the owl. I was thinking about doing the owl video. Because I think when he's over on this tree here, the blue jay's right there.
Cut her claw a few times.
I think there's somebody around in these areas.
Getting real close here.
And the owl's right here. And they're right here. See that little flash that happened right there? Let's rewind that again. You guys watch for that. It was right near the end. So it's coming from this part in the tree. So remember what you see for sticks. The owl's this far away. And see this row of stuff right there? We can't zoom in right now the way I'm on, but that row I'm following that's just under my red dot, I'm very suspicious that might be a row of eyes. But right at the end, I think, of that row, we get to see a flash there and realize how much, why I'm filming, I'm moving, and how many times I actually do go, because there's clearings of sunlight everywhere. We can see that all the way down right here even. You can see big ones and tiny ones. But ones like this, sometimes where there are 2, do you actually believe that we should be able to see how small that twig is in between? You know, think about that. But anyways, right now, we're going to watch right here, okay, guys? And it's near the end of this video, 16 seconds. I'll try to be above it.
Cut her claw a few times. And then it was like she was done.
Seeing that row of eyes that I'm thinking, right in that row, there's some twinkling.
So cheers out.
And there's the bigger flash. And no, I could say that might have been actual sunlight. I don't have a problem saying that. But I'm still saying that's worth a check out. What am I doing here? Like that. And, oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to go over here. No. Oh, I erased it. That's right, I remember erasing that video, you guys. Yeah, sometimes you gotta scrounge on your memory and stuff, so there's sacrifices. I can't keep all of my thousands of videos. Peace out, everybody. Hope it wasn't too broken up. And if it was, make sure you let me know, even though I'll rewatch this. And I'm going to try to make it better for us. Peace out.